Welcome in to the Arkansas Sports Network's Hometown Sports Football Preview, proudly presented by Arkansas Tech University, D3 Auto Sales, and by Metcalf Trucking Company. Today we sit down with Wynne Yellowjacket head coach Clay Toddy.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hometown Sports Arkansas Football Preseason Preview presented to you by the Arkansas Sports Network. I'm Alex Gallion. Alongside me is the head football coach with the 5A East Wynne Yellowjackets, Coach Toddy. Coach, appreciate you for taking time out of your lunch period to come and be a part of this interview. Obviously, I understand school starting tomorrow for you guys, that's a pretty big deal. I want to ask, how does some of the players kind of feel like going into, maybe some of the seniors really, how do they feel about going into their last year of school?
Well, we still got a lot of disruptions with, their schools. They're still in temporary school.
Yes.
But we've made progress.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think they're excited about, of course, we start school tomorrow, which is real early. So it's a little different deal, but, I think they're excited about their upcoming season.
I want to talk about kind of last season. What can you tell us about the Wynne Yellowjackets last season?
Well, it was a year like none other I've ever experienced, and I've only been doing it 27 years. This will be my 27th year as head coach.
Oh, really?
But of course, with the facilities, with the departures, we had a lot of guys leave. We had some leaving because they had to leave because of housing situations. Yes. Some leaving because they just didn't want to stay and go through what we were going to go through. Mm-hmm. So. Naturally, the ones that stayed are special, because they knew what they were dealing with. They knew what was in front of them, and they still chose to stay and fight and compete.
Yes.
So to make the playoffs in a situation like that is something that, that I think is a tribute to all those kids that stayed, considering the circumstances. It's certainly not something that's a standard at Wynne where you say, oh, we made the playoffs, but I think it was really big for our program as far as where we transitioned from here, and our numbers are real good down low, and then, probably 3 years or so, we'll have all the facilities back, and we're hoping those younger guys will benefit from what these guys are going through right now.
Kind of feels like you guys really persevered last year, especially with everything that had happened to the city of Wynne and the school.
No doubt. Players and coaches.
Yes.
We had a lot of coaches leave because or get out of football because they didn't had to go through what we were going to go through. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate the ones that came, and I was honest with all of them. I had some that had agreed to come before the tornado, and I said, hey, count the cost, because this is fixing to be a hair-pulling experience.
How tough was that on the players and the staff last year?
Oh, it's you'd have to live it. Very tough, very tough. You fly by the seat of your pants as far as when you're going to get your kids, facility issues, player issues. We were practicing in the low 30s most of the year. I think, some of them would heal up by Friday, naturally. But I think one game we dressed out 33 players in 5A football. The norm for us practice week was anywhere from 32 to 35 was the norm. We lost a couple of kids there early for the year. And then, we had several injuries. We had several kids that played through some pain, so it was a very, very trying year. We should have been playing. We started 12 sophomores at different times during the year, not necessarily the whole year because of situations. And, those guys really should have been playing JV games, and they're playing 5A football. So proud of them, proud of those kids for what they endured, proud of the fight they showed, proud of our coaches for choosing to stay and choosing to fight the odds because the odds are definitely stacked against us.
What can you tell us about some returning players from last season?
Well, I love to talk about them because, I come from small school where your players, had to play Ironman football both ways, kick game. And we've got several of those guys. We've got Cameron Smith, who was our leading tackler and also our leading rusher. He never comes off the field, plays some kick game for us also. We've got Braylon McDowell, who's a safety, plays some slot back, also knows some quarterback. Actually started a game at halfback for us, plays all of our kick game. Really good player for us. We got Abdul Fall, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, who started both ways for us last year. Got Siler Holbrook coming back, who was a cornerback, played some receiver for us last year, has done a really good job quarterback for us. We got Cy Mars, who was made a lot of plays for us, was a good leader. We've got Tyler Rowland, Corey Johnson. Those guys are Tyler and Corey were guys that stuck it out and just continued to get better. And those are some seniors. That Mac Ball was a guy that was a two-way starter for us, and he was one of those guys that was out for the year. We lost him, I guess, the week after Marion in practice with a knee injury, torn MCL. He came back and played against Mills. So we're excited about getting him back. He would have helped us last year. So those are some seniors that just popped to mind that are very special to me because they did choose to stay and they're fighters, they're competitors, and it's fun to go take on challenges when you know you got some fighters with you.
I want to talk about, obviously, you being the head coach of the Yellowjackets. A lot of the attention, positive or negative, is going to go straight towards you. Your assistant coaches, the guys that help you on and off the field, how do they do that?
Hey, I can't say enough about those guys. There's not many guys that would, like I said, a lot of them bolted. A lot of people you'd call and say, Coach, different circumstances, I would come. But Justin Skinner's our defensive coordinator, and he's been here 3 or 4 years, does a great job, works hard. Josh Cook does our special teams. He was a former player of mine, and we had hired him right before the tornado, and he came up and decided to come anyway. Chris Jones was a former player of mine that was our offensive coordinator last year, and his wife passed away December the 23rd. She found out, I guess, week 4 that her I guess that was the day of the Batesville Southside game with 4 kids, so he's in a limited role this year. But we got Justin Crane, who came up here, who was my offensive coordinator for 14 years at Rising. So he chose to come here and work with us. And we've got Johnny Lemke, who is a local guy, and the program means something to him. I think that's an asset. We've got Trey Boland, who I can't find nobody that wants to be a junior high coach. You say nobody wants to be a junior high coach, but he's jumped in there and head junior high coach, and all the responsibility and headaches that goes with that. So I appreciate him, volunteering for that role. Alex Kane is a guy that came in here after the tornado, who was a great defensive line coach, great mentor for the kids, and Coach Kane, very, very highly regarded in the coaching circles. And so those guys, really do a good job. We got Coach Havner, who came in the summer after the tornado. We got Coach Stewart, who's new right out of college. We got J.D. Woodard, and all of those guys really, really do a great job, and sure help the battle be a lot easier.
I want to ask, from a coach's standpoint, how do you see the team relationship? How do these guys connect on and off the field?
Well, I think they have that relationship. A lot of these guys have that relationship because they grow up together. I think they were hurt that some of their guys that grew up with them that left, because when you find out that it didn't mean to them what it did to them, didn't mean the same to them.
100%.
But I think that probably even made them grow closer, because they know that they got the odds stacked against them. They know they have to play multiple positions. They know they have to learn multiple positions. They know they have to be in better shape than their opponent. They know they have to do extra things in film study. There's just a lot more on them in order to compete at a high level. And if you play football at Wynne, you want to compete at a high level.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, Wynne's definitely it's a prominent football school, and
Yes,
the culture over here.
Football town, for sure.
Yes.
The town really loves it.
I want to talk about your offensive scheme. Now, you don't have to get into great detail about this, but is it going to change from last year, or are we going to kind of stick with the same?
Well, the split back I have been running for, I guess I did it 2 years as assistant, and then so I've been running for 29 years.
Wow.
So the great thing about it is the flexibility of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you fit your personnel, which is why I've loved it so many years. I mean, you can base it around your linemen. If you've got great linemen, you can base it around your quarterback. If he's an option guy, it's really good for play action. You know, Bill Walsh made a killing out of play action pass with the split back with the 49ers. If you've got the people to throw it to, the quarterback that can do it. So you have a lot of variety. Very, very expansive playbook. And then what you have to do as a coach, you have to figure out your personnel and narrow your playbook down to your personnel. Mm-hmm. So ours fluctuates every year based on our personnel, and we been here a year, so we have a better feel of our personnel. I think that was a slow transition for us. Probably the biggest transition for us is you go through off season with 65 guys and you try to pinpoint positions. You go through spring ball, then you lose 10 starters that move to other places. So now it was a constant shuffle game.
Of course.
And then you add the injuries to it. So we really didn't get our personnel matched up with our playbook till about halfway through the season, probably, week 6, week 7. So that's an advantage now, is we have a better feel of our personnel. And so we're excited about that.
What about the defensive side of the ball?
Defensively, of course, my roots were defense. So I was a defensive coordinator at Star City years ago, and that's something we're always going to take a pride in. It's something that I believe in complementary football. We have to do it more so because we have so many that play offense, defense. So our defense and offense have to complement each other. But Coach Skinner's our DC there. Coach Lemke, Coach Kane, Coach Cook, Coach Hadner work on that side of the ball, and they do a really good job, with the preparation there. But we're a multiple front, kind of very similar to what I said offensively. We're going to fit to our scheme and play schemes that fit our kids. Of course, we have a base defense like everybody, but how we expand the variables of the defense depends on our personnel.
I want to talk about the upcoming schedule. First, we'll talk about conference play because there's a lot changing with 5A East. I want to talk about non-conference first, and then. But are you guys doing a scrimmage game?
Yes.
What is that going to look like first?
We'll scrimmage Cersei.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about that?
Well, I have a different approach. I always have had a different approach to that. I like playing Cersei because they're a good program, but we won't prepare for Cersei. I mean, we'll go play. And I'm more concerned about putting our kids in game type situations, play clock, substitution, in and out, situational football. So I'm glad we get to play a caliber of Cersei because that prepares us for the season.
What about non-conference?
Non-conference will open with Marion, which will be a great challenge for us.
Yes,
I think I saw they're ranked number 5, I know, in 6A in one poll. And so, that's a great challenge for us. We're excited to get to play them at home. When I was a little boy, I tell my players all the time, my favorite story was David and Goliath. So I like that kind of stuff. I always have. So that's a great opportunity for our kids to, compete against a high quality opponent with guys receiving multiple honors, and if you can do that, if you can make plays in big ball games, maybe some people will recognize some of the players that we got, so we kind of look at that opportunity. I know they've got guys have been offered by Georgia and LSU and Alabama and all them guys that our kids play video games with, and so, we're excited to get that opportunity to get to square up with those guys. There's a player or two, I think, that grew up with our kids that are over there. So very talented, very well coached, and a great opportunity for us to see where we match up.
What else in conference?
After that, we'll play Forest City.
In non-conference.
Forest City, which is a longtime rival.
Yes.
And
they're moving down from 5A East.
Yeah. And great talent. Coach Swinton I really like. Of course, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, so I kid him all the time about I watched him return kicks for the Cowboys, so I know he'll do a good job over there. And, that's a close rivalry type game, so that'll be an exciting opportunity as well.
You guys gonna win the Forest City?
They'll come to us.
They'll come to y'all. And then what is y'all's last non-conference game?
Lone Oak.
Lone Oak, okay.
Yeah. And that'll be Coach Bemberg there, I think, from Parkview. Worked with some great guys there. And so had a lot of success there. Lone Oak has a history. Ronnie Carter. I know won a state championship there in the 90s. He was a Fordyce boy. I'm from Fordyce, so and I've got some family in Lone Oak, so I know they've had a good history there and some great talent. And we're excited about that being a close opponent, about an hour drive for us for either way. Whereas last year we were Magnolia and Fort Smith Southside, which I think they left on Wednesday.
I want to talk about conference play. There's a lot changing with 5A East. I feel like 5A East is going to be one of the most talked about conferences in all of 5A this year. Obviously, the declassifications of Southside Batesville, that's a big team, and for the Forest City Mustangs, bringing in the current defending 4A state champions, the Hardin Academy, and who else are they? GCT as well. GCT moving down from 6A, going back into that 5A East conference. They feel pretty comfortable in this 5A East conference. How are you guys feeling about it, since it feels like this conference has arguably only got harder?
Well, we're gathering the rocks. We're gathering the rocks and gathering the sling. We know that Hardin Academy, Valley View are just great talent, huge numbers.
Yes.
Valley View, lots of depth, a lot of good players, well coached. Hardin Academy, well coached, good players, smart kids, competitors, expect to win. Had a great success in 4A, and of course, then you get into the other members. Batesville is a team that is always traditionally rich and scrappy, and you've got Nettleton, super talented, team there.
They've lost some athletes, but they still got a really good team going over there at Nettleton. And
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn's losing a big senior class from last year, but they're keeping a lot of solid players. They got a guy named Gabe Carter, who's a pretty solid receiver for them.
Yeah, their quarterback played real well against us last year. It was seemed to be an up and coming team.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got your Paragould and your Greene County Tech, and you better be ready to play every week. I mean,
it's a dogfight every week.
Yeah, we're not the type team that can just show up any game. I mean, we'll have to prepare and play well every game to give ourselves a chance to win.
I'm going to ask you one last question, Coach. This season will be successful for the Wynne Yellowjackets
Well, I think if we stay healthy, I think if we win the turnover battle, I think our defense has got to give us some breaks with the turnover. We've got to hang on to the ball, we've got to play. We've got to play. We've got to do a great job in our preparation and taking care of our bodies, and be able to practice and get our kids ready to go compete.
This has been Coach Toddy of the Wynne Yellowjackets. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
You can check out all the Hometown Sports Arkansas football previews presented to you by the Arkansas Sports Network, all live here on YouTube and Facebook. And don't forget to like us on Instagram at AR Sportsnet. I'm Alex Gallion, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks again for joining us on the Arkansas Sports Network's Hometown Sports Football Preview. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Arkansas Sports Network on YouTube to catch more previews and all the latest updates on your favorite teams.